Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Thursday, Friday Junior.
Friday Junior. April is September. And I keep reminding people because it almost feels like every day in this month is either right after a holiday or right before a holiday. And so there seems to always be that the weeks that feels in between celebrations. And so either just to get over one or the prime up for our next one.
I mean, I feel like our viewers know it's September the minute we say good morning and they see all the red flags.
So today people would be preparing to prime up for night.
Yes.
Which is tomorrow is the 9th.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things. I know there's a lot of events happening tomorrow. In fact, we'll have a guest on this morning.
Yes.
That will be here to speak to us about one of those.
One of those events.
We have a couple of guests.
Yes.
That will be here to speak to us about different night events. Night events. That's a tongue twister for you right there. But April, it's Thursday morning, and obviously there was a lot in the newscast last night that we could basically delve a bit into. Like, for example, last night we saw that the Prime Minister responded to, I believe it's about 13 NGOs that wrote a letter to the Prime Minister on August 25th requesting that all EIA processing be halted. So EIAs that are on the table right now, we're talking environmental impact assessments that are on the table right now, that those be halted for a period. And then they gave their rationale behind why they made that request. Now we know it's a controversial issue in terms of all these developments being proposed on our coast, these developments being proposed in our waters, our marine waters, and so
under terrestrial territories as well.
Right, and so the NGOs, they have been advocates in terms of ensuring that things are done in a manner which seeks to protect our environment. And so following that letter from the August 25th letter, it was on September 6th that the Prime Minister responded. I mean, that's almost 10 days.
Well, he wasn't in country.
He wasn't in country, one, and two, the letter explains that he sought, or his office sought, legal counsel. And there's some points that are worth addressing or raising from the Prime Minister's response here this morning. One being the fact that what the NGOs obviously see as a defensive statement or a defensive approach or a defensive response, but the fact that the PM in his letter says that all these requirements under the Blue Bond Agreement and conservation funding agreements, that they are being followed, that there are mechanisms within his office, within the Blue Bond unit, ensuring that these are being followed. And then adding to that the statement that speaks to poverty and the increase in the need for jobs and employment and economic relief, and saying that on the other hand, we can't ignore these economic opportunities for the sake of the poor, for the sake of those who need jobs for the sake of rebound in our economy.
I hear you, and I saw the letter that we had shown on our newscast last night, and you know, with all due respect, and I certainly can appreciate that the Prime Minister took the time to respond, and of course sought advice from outside and legal counsel so that he was able to properly formulate this response. But I still have lingering questions, and when we had Minister Habet on the show, I had asked him these questions about what certain terms mean when we talk about impact, right? Because he says that no matter what, there will be an impact, whether it's low or high, there will be an impact on the environment. We just have to be able to see how much and how much loss is made, right? So I had questions about terminologies such as what are long-term job opportunities, what are short-term job opportunities, what happens when certain infrastructure is built and the companies begin to run, you know, and for the most part, that to me is what I would have questions for when it comes to sustainability of job opportunities. Yeah. And when it comes to discussing the matters and making sure that the rules are being followed under the Blue Bond unit, you know, some transparency needs to be had. What do you mean by that? What are these proposals saying that makes you believe that you have to highlight these rules and to say that you're following them? What are they? You know, so those would be where my questions would come in line, and I think that's why I would have to agree with Senator Chanona in that aspect. I'm still a little bit confused as to the response, because I know that Minister Habet also said that there hasn't been a proposal yet from like Vulcan, right? So I think that the 12 or 13 NGOs that are coming together are trying to prevent something from happening before the government feels that they have to sit with this rock and a hard place kind of decision when it comes to proposals like what Vulcan would bring.
I've always had the position that there must be a balance between protecting our environment and developing our country. I don't think that there should be any extremes on any side. So the government of Belize, in my opinion, shouldn't be of the position that we won't protect or put any protection mechanisms in place and just develop. So we just build ports, we just build mining hubs without those protective mechanisms in place. And then here they're saying that, all right, so as not to be that government, we have the Blue Bond unit in place. And you're right in asking the questions that you raised, because then now let's now talk more about this Blue Bond unit. Yeah. Let's now talk more about these rules and these guidelines in place. Let's talk now more about these processes so that we are better informed, and that as a people, as a country, we can feel more confident. We can feel safer, that knowing that, all right, this thing seems legit, or this could be altered here. But can that be done simultaneously with developments taking place and EIAs being processed? I would imagine it can. I don't know, but that's not for me to decide. Right. And I'm saying the release does say in essence that they can work simultaneously. They can work simultaneously, but also you can't have the other extreme, where it's all about conservation, it's all about protecting the environment, and there's no room left for development. And these very important developments, or these very important facets for development and for economic benefits to the community. And I don't necessarily get the sense that our NGOs are that they're anti-development. They're basically the gatekeepers and the government and the NGOs, they have to find common ground.
I think it comes down to like a matter of trust as well.
Yeah,
you know,
we've talked about that.
Because we've talked about it on the show, and we've shared it with our viewers that what is to stop any company afterwards, that after we have said no, or after, you know, that, you know, they own land, so without any kind of monitoring, it leaves the media, nobody complains about it afterwards. And we've seen this happen before, where they've been left unmonitored, and, you know, the reaping of resources still continue. So it is a matter of, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to make sure that all of these regulations are set and that people are actually following these rules. And how are we going to hold these people accountable, and how are we going to monitor them? Do we have the resources to do that? Do we have the manpower to do that? Are we just going to go in blindly and say, okay, they signed a contract, so we'll just trust that they will keep their word on that contract? It doesn't always work like that way. And so I have to understand that feeling of distrust and fear when it comes from. Do you know how much power there is in fear, and the fact that before a proposal was even met, before Vulcan was even able to sign any kind of contract or paper, these 12 to 13 NGOs banded together and said no, because we already feel that it's coming and we want to prevent that. And that says a lot about where we are. That says a lot about who we trust, and that says a lot about our history when it comes to infrastructure and people that, you know, come in and invest in our country. But
so Gabriel, it's an important conversation to have, because the NGOs are churning over the document, and they will be articulating a response to that. And at the end of the day, we listen and we talk and we discuss it because it impacts our future. There was also an interesting perspective that came up yesterday out of the UB lectures. One perspective, because the topic of the UB lectures had to do with asking and answering the question, has Belize broken the ties of its colonial past? I may have paraphrased it, but I remember one lecturer questioning these developments in general, asking if they are for the benefit of the Belizean people, us Belizeans that own this land, or if they are but a reflection of the colonial masters and their ways of doing things in terms of reaping, the resources from our country.
I have to say that it was a wonderful lecture to attend. It was quite lengthy, and I believe that it was Dr. DeShield that focused on decolonization, or the topic of decolonization within the education system. Mrs. Erica Aguilar touched on language. I believe that Dr. Middleton focused on immigration, and then Dr. Penados focused on public policy. And what I really appreciated from these lectures was the fact that the bottom line is we don't talk about this enough. And the word, I believe that Dr. DeShield mentioned that the word decolonization is used so loosely. You know, we don't even begin to. That is a term that is complex. You have to unroot it in so many angles. And the reality is that we don't know what we don't know, right? And for those of us that kind of just expect that people know their history and know their background, walk around with this notion that it's such an easy topic to discuss. How do you get rid of not, he said 300 years, but I'm going to go back and go to about 500 years, you know, of the constant reaping of our resources and the enslavement of the indigenous populations, the enslavement of the African populations, and basically creating this nation. And as a person that understands the foundations of every single society on this modern day planet was built on the backs of slaves, was built on the backs of colonialization. We are a nation built on colonization. So how do you begin to ask the questions of doing away with education system when you don't even know what you would put in place of? How do you do away with a colonialized government when you don't know what you would do away? We still have oppression Olympics. Who in a worse situation, you or me? And when we're here fighting amongst each other, the person that is held responsible is getting away scot-free with the fact that they've been here reaping our resources and then they left, right? So all of these conversations we are not comfortable having because it makes us feel like we're not allowed to talk about it or say it out loud. Let me ask you this, Paul. When was your first encounter with understanding Belizean history?
I'm still learning, April.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I don't know that Belizean history was taught to me in a manner that I understood and was able to embrace growing up as a child. For me, Belizean history was just another subject. It was just another topic in school, and it was only in my late 20s when I began to really see and understand the importance of Belizean history, because then I began to realize that a lot of our collective past experiences affects the way our society it functions right now. And so for me, the topic of colonialism, as much as it is a social issue, it also becomes a philosophical issue, and it leads me to ask philosophical questions in terms of, do we think the way we think? Are our thoughts the way they are because of the experiences that our ancestors experienced or had? So when it comes to the way we think about our own image, the way we think about our identities, the way the thoughts that go into some of the rules and policies that govern us, these things such as policies when it comes to the hairstyle in school, uniforms. So the question starts to, or the topic starts to become philosophical for me, and for me that's beneficial for me, at least personally, because then I get to ask myself questions to either answer them or reshape my way of thinking moving forward.
Well, I have a very, very quick answer for you, and it's yes.
Yeah,
you know, your past and the experiences of your ancestors and the way you were growing up, the fact that you thought of history as just another subject, all of that, you know. So the reality is that we have to get to the root of those situations. But in order for us to get to the root, we have to be serious about how we educate and how us as a people talk about it. When we just shouldn't talk about it on September, right?
Yeah.
But
indeed,
we will have folks in studio to answer some of those questions today. And as we continue on with our show for this morning and continue to motivate ourselves into understanding and asking ourselves these philosophical questions, we move into our eye-opener for this morning. And our eye-opener is taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Our lives belong to us, and so do our decisions. Just because an idea or way of doing things is popular doesn't mean it's right for everyone. However, part of the way that something becomes popular is that many of us don't take the time to determine what's right for us. We simply do what most of the people we know are doing. In this way, our decisions about life are made by default, which means that they aren't what we call conscious decisions. There may be many other options available, but we won't always take the time to explore them. This may be the result of feeling overwhelmed or pressured by family, peers, and humanity at large to do things their way, the way things have always been done. Regardless of the cause, it is important that as often as we can, we decide for ourselves what to do with our lives rather than just drift along on the current of popular opinion. I'll tell you something. I was never somebody of popular opinion to do anything. But no, this eye opener definitely. You can think about it on a deeper level of things like peer pressure and influence. So when we are growing up, we kind of are seeking to find ourselves and seeking to find this identity of ours, and most of us don't know what we're doing. Yeah. And more than likely, the person next to us doesn't know what they're doing either. Yeah. But we're kind of seeking to find ourselves and to see how we're able to navigate through this really big, scary world. And so we kind of just cling to whatever seems to be mainstream and seems to be popular. That way, I won't have to feel like an outsider. I won't have to feel like I'm not understanding what society is doing. And when we do that, we kind of dwindle away within ourselves, out of ourselves, and we lose a little bit of what could have been impactful to society. So our lives belong to us, and so do our decisions. Make sure that you are attuned to yourself and you are within your own rights to make the decisions you want for the betterment of yourself. That's how I'm looking at this eye opener.
Yeah, just briefly, for me, it's a gentle reminder for me to be myself. To be yourself, like you rightfully said, there's some decisions that you want to make, some interests that you have, and you're probably questioning it because like, oh, not everybody into this, or not everybody around me to do that. Okay, so you know, it may not be the most popular opinion, or it may not be the most popular practice or engagement or pastime, but if it's something you're interested in, explore it, because at the end of the day, it may not only be advantageous to you, but even to those around you that it doesn't seem popular to. So make that decision, take that step, do that thing, even if it's not the most popular thing to do. Who would say we have to be popular?
That's true.
Right?
But you know what? You know who we have to be popular with?
The weather people.
The weather. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing
we are
fine.
Doing
Thank
fine.
you.
Thanks. The weather seems to be getting warmer and warmer. So, what news do you have for us this morning?
Okay. Well, we'll see generally fair weather for most of today, but later on this evening, tonight, we'll be seeing some changes.
Ooh, what kind of changes?
Well, what happened is an air trough will be crossing us, so that will bring an increase in moisture of us. Therefore, that will be the forecast, though.
Woo.
Should I continue?
Yes, please.
Let's
get into that 24-hour forecast.
Okay, so like I was saying, during today we'll see mostly sunny skies, and then later on tonight we'll be seeing an increase in cloudiness and also an increase in showers, thunderstorms, and even periods of light rain.
And how does that affect our temperatures, our highs and lows?
Okay, well, during the daytime, we'll be seeing 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 94 inland, 82 up in the Maya Mountains, so a little bit warm. And then later tonight, we'll be seeing 79 Fahrenheit along the coast, 72 inland, 68 up in the Maya Mountains.
Oof. And how does that affect the winds?
Okay, so for several days now, we've been seeing light winds, and today, again, we will be seeing winds out of the east-southeast, 5 to 10 knots, and that will produce slight seas. So we'll only be seeing 1 to 3 feet waves beyond the reef.
Okay, not too bad. And the outlook for tonight all the way through to Friday?
Okay, so like I said, during tonight we'll see that increase in shower activity. That will continue tomorrow, but we seeing it mostly over northern areas. And then by Friday evening, Friday night, I'm seeing showers decreasing, becoming isolated around the country. Saturday, I'm seeing again mostly isolated showers. That's the 10th, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
so
So just let me tell everybody, you
isolated.
might see a little shower pass through, but for most of the day, it will be dry.
Libertarian.
That's right.
And any updates, any tropical updates or warnings that are coming in? We know we had the depression and the wave, yeah.
In our immediate area, we don't have any. We
Okay.
have Danielle that was downgraded to a tropical storm that's out there near the Azores. And then we have Earl, that is still a hurricane, and that is strengthening as we speak. I think it's at 105 miles per hour winds right now.
Wow.
Okay, so hopefully
But
it won't
Say again?
gain, so hopefully it won't gain any strength.
oh, yeah.
Any update from our sarcasm?
Okay, well, we are still seeing that sargassum mats could be affecting us during the next couple of days. Still on that trend.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for giving us that update. It seems that we're going to be having a very hot day, so you all have to stay hydrated.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You're welcome. You too.
All right, there you have it. It's going to be a hot day, Paul. Make sure that you all drink your water, mind your business, and wear a hat and an umbrella. But we got to get moving into our show. We have a jam-packed show filled with wonderful conversation, and our first conversation is talking about St. George's Caye Day. Is it significant? Is it controversial? We'll have the folks in to discuss all about that.
And of course, in our second conversation, April, we have take things back to some old school soca with none other than Oscar B, who will be joining us in studio, soca artist Oscar B via Zoom, as well as Sasha Ely, who's Oscar B's manager.
Okay.
And they'll be here to talk about the 9th night at the Biltmore Plaza.
There's that tongue twister again.
Ninth night at the Biltmore Plaza.
And following that conversation, we'll have those from the U15 national champions. They will be here to talk about the tournament that had just taken place. So we'll have the coach and a couple of the players to discuss that.
And of course, after the 9th night, you are so Brahmin
For the 10th.
For the 10th. And so if you're in Belize City, you'd want to stay tuned to hear all about the Belize City Council's September 10th Bram. And even if you're not from Belize City, you still want to stay tuned because you might want to find somewhere for come and celebrate, and Belize City may just be the place for you to do that.
All right, but before we get into all of that, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with our first conversation. So stay tuned.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Wow. Oh my god, she drunk. No hurry, I got this. Goodness. Oh my gosh, it's the artist.
Being the hardest. The artist. But you had way more than 2 drinks tonight, love, which is a legal limit to drive. What about you? Can you drive?
Well, I was drinking soft drink all night, so I can drive her home. Thanks, Bree. Of course, Tricia, you know I got you. You're my girl.
That's what I like to see. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, cause you can't replay in a real life. Stig says so. Can't replay in a real life.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Brianna, what do you want to be when you grow up?
grow up, I want to be a doctor.
That's great, honey. You have to study hard then and get good grades.
Yes, Mommy, I will. Mommy, why do the neighbors have to play the music so loud?
Every day, people are affected by noise. Noise, like loud music, is not a concern for those making the noise because they are not the ones being affected. It is usually the vulnerable that is impacted the most by noise pollution, such as the sick, the elderly, and the young. That is why the Department of the Environment is asking you to be considerate of your neighbors. Be mindful that your actions can have lasting effects, and know that noise pollution is an offense under the pollution regulation.
And we are back with our first conversation for this morning. We're going to talk about St. George's Caye Day. For some people, it's a controversial topic. For others, it's a history lesson. But nonetheless, I think we'll all be able to take away something from this conversation this morning. And so in with us to help us get some enlightenment on this topic, we have Ms. Sharon Pitts, who is the committee member of St. George's Caye Day, of the St. George's Caye Day Society, and the past chairperson as well. We have via Zoom Rolando Kokom, who is a senior research and education officer and acting director for ISCR at Niche. And finally, last but not least, we have Mr. Gian Vasquez, who's a history lecturer, adjunct lecturer at SJCJC. Good morning to you, wonderful folks, and thank you all for being here this morning to have this discussion with us. The first thing I want to get out of the way is to ask Ms. Pitts, just to give us a brief idea of what the St. George's Caye Day Society is.
Well, the St. George's Caye Day Society is a group of volunteers and salt of the earth Belizeans, whosoever will may come, but it's a core group organization, and the name speaks for itself. The St. George's Caye Day Society has its mandate. It was formalized into a non-profit organization as well, to continue on behalf of the people and country of Belize the commemoration, along with others, of course, and volunteer to be part of the National September Celebrations Committee, so that its main thrust and focus is the 10th parade, around the 10th parade, and retrieving and continuing to share the history of the Battle of St. George's Caye with the children intergenerationally of Belize. It continues from an original committee of 40 of 1898, the centenary committee, if you will.
1898.
And as well, you had the black man Simon Lamb. So the elders would have said centenary. Then you had later on, you had national committees, you had committee of 40. Again, in the 70s, up to the 70s, and the society thought that to be very clear that it's above and beyond politics, adopt the name St. George's Caye Day Society, which speaks for itself.
Is this perhaps one of the oldest societies of its kind in the country?
Well, if it traces, when tracing its roots, I would say so, yes, in that it has revived and continuing, so you know, it reaches back and pulls forward.
Yeah.
So it has that honor.
That's quite impressive. It's the first time learning about the society, and so I appreciate that insight.
I would like to go a little bit further and to talk. You said that you hold some of the traditions and like the parade and so forth for the tent. When it comes to the educational aspect of the Battle of St. George's Caye, how does the society move forward to discuss the event itself and to have conversations like these around the tent?
Well, particularly around this time, the society responds and called upon. And I was delegated and ordered to come here today, short notice. I was to be out district and was ill yesterday, but tent gives us that vitality. So what we usually point to, the Belize history is, and the historians might correct me, Belize history is so large and awesome and immense that we can point to books and sources. So to put it in a short way, we will say it's so well documented. Take it from the imperial forces, the invaders who were defeated. So the Spanish archives, American archives, English archives, Belize history, Jamaica history, it's well documented. And then we will point to books like Shoulder to Shoulder, published in British Honduras in 1928, which has a wealth of information. I think if you look at 1945, St. John's College Journal, you will see a writing about the Grand Victory. I will point to my grandfather who wrote, and I like to use it as a metaphor, an epic poem of 34 stanzas, The Battle and the Flag, and in the bicentenary, the poet laureate of London dramatized it. But it speaks to the battle. Now when you look at the American independence, Wendell Holmes, the former Chief Justice, as he then was, departed now, he wrote a 4-stanza poem to All Ironsides, right? Here we have that. When you look at our history again, and I'll just quickly say this, Belizeans have got to wake up. The very church in Boston has a pew reserved for gentlemen, and I would say, no, I can sit there as a lady of the bay. Because in 1723, our people voted to sell logwood and mahogany to support that effort. And the steeple, depending on how you see it, where Paul Revere rang to say, or his black freeman or slave that the British are coming, that very church. We've had so many amazing things happening to our history that this is a trusted legacy. And as the society chairperson wrote, and the adopted slogan is, we are here because they are here. 10th day of September 1798 was about the battle and the flag of our country, as it then was. 1981, 21st of September, is and remains about the battle and the flag of Belize, as we still are.
I want to get into, she said documentation. So yeah, and
you talked about the history.
Yes, but I wanted to highlight one thing that Ms. Pitts said, and it was the documentation of the Battle of St. George's Caye. And I know that yourself, Mr. Gian, who is a history lecturer, and of course Rolando Cocom, who works at the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, can attest to that kind of documentation. I know that there were documentations about the Flower Banks 14 and so forth. So, Mr. Cocom, if you could just briefly discuss what the ISCR has been doing in terms of these documents and how they're able to showcase them for the further education of the Belizean community.
So pleasant good morning, April and Paul, and to the guests on the show as well, Ms. Sharp and Jan. Very much pleased to be sharing this platform with you all.
Thank you.
At the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, we have been doing several works over the past years to increase the documentation around the Battle of St. George's Caye, and also provide avenues whereby different perspectives are able to be shared on the basis of research that can be verified at the Belize Archives and Record Service or at the National Heritage Library, and also perspectives that must be reasonable and justified on the basis of historical evidence. And we have done several forums in that regard and produced several works. As it currently stands, just to kind of give the historical context for our audience and for those who may not be so much familiar with the history of this conflict, we must bear in mind that this was part of the two imperial rivalries. We have the Spanish on the one hand and the British on the other. Of course, starting from the when Christopher Columbus shows up in this part of the world, thinking it's India, and then therefore we're now called the West Indies throughout the colonial period. Essentially, Spain claims all of this land, and other European states gradually begin to have interest in also taking and extracting resources from this land. Of course, the indigenous population suffered tremendously and devastatingly because of diseases that came along with that colonial contact, that European contact, and also their vicious attempt to deconstruct existing indigenous political practices and populations. You know, in the case of Belize, there were some early Spanish attempts to regroup Maya communities into specific areas. We're thinking about Lamanai, we're thinking about Tipu, and there were resistance by the indigenous population to this. And so what we're thinking about here is conflict and how do different interests play out. And the Spanish would then also have conflict with the British in terms of exercising their sovereignty over this land, claiming it is theirs. The British should not be extracting logwood in the early 1700s, and we're seeing at least seven attempts by the Spanish to remove them from this area called the Bay of Honduras in the early times. And then by 1796, there's another conflict between Spain and Britain, and this is when, as well, the settlers here in what is now Belize, they get word that the Spaniards are preparing to dislodge them once again, and the settlement goes about in confusion. There's a drought at the time, and they also have to make a decision on defending or evacuating. And I know Ms. Sharon is a well-known promoter of this narrative, and so I'll leave that to her. But essentially, there's an ongoing, almost a year and a half of preparations because the settlers are aware that there's an incoming attempt to dislodge them, and that is what we call the Battle of St. George's Caye. By September 2nd, the Spaniards are already making their way to St. George's Caye. I want to say by September 5th, they are by Caye Chapel, and they have several difficulties to maneuver themselves into these shallow waters and to come and attack at St. George's Caye. Their intention was to attack St. George's Caye and then proceed to what we would call Belize Town or the Halova Creek. But because there a series of reasons, they did not do so, primarily due to a disorganization on the Spaniards' part. There were different leaders had different opinions on what should be done, and some disobeyed the orders. They were also exhausted. They were also not prepared in terms of having the proper knowledge on how to navigate the area. And meanwhile, the British side, although their fleet was smaller, and they were able to navigate the waters better, and they showed their presence in a series of what some historians call skirmishes, exchange of fire essentially, between September 2nd to September 10th, and then I think by September 16th, the Spaniards under the Spanish vessels decide to move away, and they're no longer seen in sight. So what we call and what we celebrate as September 10th is sort of like the last day that the Spaniards begin to retreat.
So I want to cut in here for a moment, and
sure.
and
And I'm sorry I gave you such a mouthful, but I really wanted to give the audience a larger perspective of what we're discussing.
Right, and this is all according to how we are seeing it in the documentations and so forth. Yes.
Right. So we have in our Belize Archives and Records Service, we have the reports from Captain Moss. We have the reports as well now from the Spanish side. And so we are able to compare the two, and some viewers will remember that we recently did a presentation about this a few years ago. And so the records are pretty much consistent about the conflict itself. But as you know too, there's also a difference between what has been termed these days academic history, which deals a lot with the archival analysis, and what is now called public history, which deals a lot with how communities interpret the past, and that's really relevant, especially to this case, whereby especially I'm thinking here the 1930s and the 1950s, where there's this different approach by political leaders to say, let's call Battle of St. George's Caye Nationalist Day, and let's use it as a day to fight for greater self-representation, self-determination. And so there's sort of like two angles to this, what I would say academic archival history and public history, which deals a lot with how the past is interpreted by communities.
Right, so I want to then get the conversation to Gian, because Gian is a history lecturer at SJCJC. So tell us, Mr. Vasquez, how you then take all of this information and explain it to a bunch of students that probably this is the basic foundation of their Belizean history.
Well, then I don't think I ever explain it in that fashion because primarily, as Rolando just mentioned, there is public history, and I am one of those who don't believe that the Battle of St. George's Caye is of any significance to the history of us. Right?
There you go.
And as Ms. Pitts mentioned, it was celebrated 100 years after its original occurrence, 1898.
Clarify that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It was in 1898 it was first celebrated. Even the motto used, shoulder to shoulder, all of that is colonial vestiges. It is a colonial past. Ms. Pitts even mentioned that in Boston there is a pew that the people here from Belize, the Baymen, are allowed to sit. The people who were here, for the majority of the people who were here, they were enslaved Africans.
Of course, of course.
And so these enslaved Africans would probably never have had the opportunity to be there. And so it's glorifying the history of the person who was writing, who were the Europeans. It is a European history that is being glorified. Because, like, for example, for myself, I am Maya Mestizo. I'm definitely not a Bayman. I will never be a Bayman, right? And that is not a part of what Belize is today.
So then that goes back to my original question before we came on air. What is the definition of a Bayman? Who classifies themselves as such, and what does that mean for us as
so
a society?
For me, I don't use the term Bayman because I use the term Belizean. We are Belizeans.
Right.
And there, from 1981, there should have been a revamping of our history, of our identity. We should be moving towards something I would term as Belizean centricity. We are all Belizeans because in today's day, you have children who don't know what ethnicity or what they should call themselves because they come from varying cultures. What do they celebrate? And then, like, when we talk about the 10th, what are we really celebrating? Because if you're saying that Belize became a country as a result of that, then you are doing a disservice, especially to history. Why? Because in 1802, whether that battle got Belize or the British right of conquest of this territory in 1802 in the Treaty of Amiens in Articles 3 and 4, it clearly states that the British gave back all rights to Belize to the Spaniards.
I don't agree with that.
And the only territory they stayed with specified in the Treaty of Amiens of 1802 is Trinidad. And then you have warfare occurring again. And the only reason Belize was not subsequently attacked was because Europeans were, as Rolando was mentioning, at war. There was war up until the Napoleonic Wars, 1808. And in 1808, Mexico underwent its War of Independence with Hidalgo. And so all of that caused there to be no interest in coming to Belize. And even more so, I would venture to say, my ancestors stood up there in the Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya of the Yucatan Peninsula have been written out of Belizean history because had they not created a barrier up there in the north, the Mexicans would have probably come, even the Spaniards would have walked and marched into Belize and made it Spanish.
No.
Why is there no mention of that?
Well, let me ask.
I would say, no,
clearly there's some difference of views
opinions,
here and opinions. Would you care to
My view, and I will speak as a Belizean, because when you asked the question, Baymen, I said before we came on here, Baymen, Keymen, people of the Bay, Pork and Door Boys, the people who were here. And I like to go back. If you take it historically, scientifically, you will see that the very pyramids have effigies to blacks. So Olmec, if you look at the jade head, it looks more like my grandfather's face, and the friezes on Lamanai. So we have a mixture of people. And respectfully, in Belize, you have to be very careful because quite a number of us, we can self-declare and self-identify. But we have a lot of things mixed up in us that you can't exclude. But get into the history. Belize's history is well documented, and that is why I said look to the Spaniards. Now with respect to black history, the important thing, I hear the words conflict. The only conflict and victory I see is the decisive defeat of the Spanish invading Armada, which never came back, and that is why we are here. I see unity, and if Belizeans unite around the history of Belize and the common identity as Belizeans, we're good. With respect to the blacks, black people were here who were free people, and black people also came as slaves. We are all black, whether you like it or not, and it's a proud history. The original or earlier coat of arms show two obviously Negro men. That cannot be denied. The importance of the history of the Battle of St. George's Caye, which will not be denied if you want to talk about blacks in this country, is that you had the Flowers Bank, 14 of which only 2 were whites. Belize had property qualification so that the parliament held, the public meeting was a parliament at the courthouse where it still is. 1st June 1797, there was a deadlock in the vote, and the blacks came and they voted. They were promised payment as king's troop. That was not fulfilled. There were certain things, but what is undeniable, the very shoulder-to-shoulder coat of arms, is that uniquely in our history, whereas the invading enemy thought they could get the blacks to separate from the white settlers, the lesson from St. George's Caye is that when we come together in common love of the country of Belize against indomitable odds, we prevail. With respect to the Battle of St. George's Caye, and the history for our children is, when I talk about the Battle of St. George's Caye, I will get on to say, well, you know, Samuel Haynes wrote Haven of Democracy. So by the time you look at 1802, 1804, our Garifuna ancestors came here for sanctuary. 1867 War of the Caste, it came again for sanctuary. We had people coming from different times for sanctuary right up to what we have. And the common Belizean identity, but the common respect for our history. History cannot be denied. You can have perspective, but the thing is, we have, and that is why I said, look at what Spain contributed back to the country of Belize. The history cannot be denied and will not be whitewashed. It's not because
exactly.
we had a negative colonial past that we will throw. Thomas Paslow, who was the leader of the debate, and Dr. Patriot, said a man who is not prepared to defend the country should not reap the benefits. And I'm paraphrasing. He disciplined his slave girl over handkerchief, and we know that. But he led that debate, and because of that, when the people who are divided voted after the Flowers Bank 14, all were united in a common defense of this country of belief.
All right, so thank you, Miss Smith. So
I really need
we don't have a lot of time, so I'll have you briefly just chime in, and then I'll ask Mr. Kokom briefly to just kind of give a final wrap-up.
I agree.
And I appreciate the conversation.
Yes, 100%.
Flowers Bank men and women came, voted, no doubt about that. The narrative 100 years later fought shoulder to shoulder. That is a farce. There was no fight. There was no physical fight.
When it was celebrated a certain way, it was naturally celebrated at the victory. And we have the details of the munitions, all the war efforts, the sloops. Take it from the Spanish history, take it from the British history.
I just would like to give Mr.
all the details of the battle are here, and I can go into some of them.
I gave you the chance to speak, Ms.
Yes,
so
let's have Mr. Vasquez, please.
It was a naval engagement. There was no physical fighting. There was no one who died as a result of it. As Ms. Spitz mentioned, and I was a part of the History Association when the commission was made to retrieve the documents from Captain O'Neill, from the documents in Merida from the archives, right? So the facts are the facts. But 100 years later, when it was first celebrated, the backdrop to it was that the West Indian soldiers who were, officers who were here, started to make noise, started to revolt against the colonial system because of Crown Colony government. Crown Colony government stripped all blacks of power. All political power, the blacks lost.
Well, I want to
as a result of colonial government, of Crown Colony government. When Crown Colony government took over, what did they do? Opposition started, and because opposition started, they tried to create a narrative where the black person and the white person are best friends. And that is why they created that slogan, shoulder to shoulder, to convince the black man that he and the white person had fought 100 years later. And that narrative continues to be told, to be told to our children that we are one and one together with the whites, which was not true.
Clearly, this conversation could continue, and it leaves room to have the discussion in a longer setting.
Yes,
I have settled, if nothing else, that there is varying views when it comes to the Battle of St. George's Caye, and as respected, educated individuals sitting on the panel, I appreciate the fact that you both come to me with documentation and proof. So what we want to do now in wrapping up the conversation this morning, we want to briefly hear from Mr. Kokom in terms of what has been your experience based on the documentations with these varying views, and how would you seek to reconcile this argument based on documentation?
Thank you, Paul. Really, it's good that there is healthy debate.
Of course.
There has to be.
I think the only problem is the limited time.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
But thank you as a team for valuing the opinions of us, I think collectively of Gian and Ms. Sharon. I value their opinions as well. And I think what we are saying is currently playing out is that we need to do more research. We need to do more education. We need to allow people to look at the evidence about each perspective and the multiple perspectives that can also come out of others looking at the archival material, and also not just the archival material, but some of the oral histories that I think Ms. Sharon is pointing to as to why different parts of the community or segments of the community choose to celebrate the Battle of St. George's Caye with a higher level of respect than others. So let me just touch on that just very quickly to say that in the case of the celebrations, whereas Gian is absolutely right that it is until 1898 that there's a first sort of like official and public holiday of the Battle of St. George's Caye. Just a few years before too, there was the celebration of Emancipation Day, 10 years before, 1888, and this was led by Simon Lamb, who was championing for a learning institute to be created. Unfortunately, a storm would come a few years after and destroy what they had started. And what we see in his case is that by the early 1905, I would say a few years after, the Battle of St. George's celebration also became less celebrated. And he took up a key position in mobilizing the community and to do that parade. So I think that is a type of history that we are part of, whereby we can see somebody who was celebrating Emancipation Day and using that as a way to empower African descendants in Belize. But because of the power structure and the resources that are available and perhaps other factors that we are yet to uncover, he also participated in the celebration of the Battle of St. George's Caye. And I think that is where the community is coming from, whereby we're seeing the Battle of St. George's Caye being celebrated and being valued for multiple reasons. One as a day of claiming the territorial integrity of what is now Belize, but also as a day where they can celebrate the presence of Africans in Belize and their participation in the society. And then there are other conflicts and there are different narratives that emerge later on, as I pointed to. I mean, by the time the nationalist movement is formed, there's this idea that we shouldn't celebrate the Battle of St. George's Caye because that reinforced a colonial society, which it did. They also then wanted to call it Nationalist Day as opposed to the Battle of St. George's Caye Day. And so that's another phase of the history that we regrettably can't get into much at this time. But just to say that there are different perspectives and there's reasons, there's justification as to why our history has unfolded in this way. There's a reason why there's confusion about what space this narrative and this historical event should occupy in the nation. Nonetheless, it is part of the September celebrations, and there is a ceremony that will take place, I believe, in all municipalities and across Belize, and that's an opportunity whereby we can learn from others about their perspectives and learn about the historical event and see how this history and its celebration has unfolded since more than 200 years ago.
Yeah, thank you, Rolando Cocom, for that wrapping up and tying it neatly in a bow when it comes to the varying perspectives of this history. And I will go on to say, thank you both so much for coming in and giving us your insights. And we have to continue the conversation, because the reality is that we don't know our history like that. Yes, there is documentation. Yes, there's archaeology. Yes, there's all of these disparted parts of who we are as a society, but it's not collective, and we have to be able to properly engage and educate.
I agree, and the good thing is that we can read. A lot of the history did not depend on lecturers and even up to university level, but I read about the archaeologists, the scientific evidence, the listening to the oral history and retrieving it, listening to the written recorded history, and especially from the very invader. And I like to say that certain things on the surface in 1946, and it coincided with an unfounded claim against his country. Belizeans, beware, you are warned. The beautiful thing is, I think it was commented before we came in, if I may say, and it was like, wow, you want Belizeans not to know something, put it in a book. But if you read the documentation from before and throughout, you don't leave a part of your history. We Belizeans like conflict to deny our history, but when we come together in our history and are people with one solid common identity, you will see how Belize always prevail. And by the grace of God.
Yes.
Because while we sleep with one eye open because the enemy is always nigh. When I celebrate the 10th, my first parade, I was 3 months old in my mother's arm. Nobody messed with my tent. Who can dance Jankuno? Dance Jankuno, and that is Creole too, by the way, because it means to make a mockery of things.
Well, Ms. Smith,
but our history will not be denied. Belize's very future and presence as a country. And I'm ringing a clarion call. Prescription, treaty, legislation. The Battle of St. George's Caye. Watch people where they are going. Watch who try to take that out, and watch where it will have us as a country.
Yes.
You will see in certain things up to the ICJ about the Battle of St. George's Caye. Watch it.
All right.
Don't say you weren't forewarned, people.
Thank you, Ms. Fitz. We are completely, I wish we had more time. I wish I could have give you an hour, but we're completely.
I was thought if you have 60 seconds, make sure you defend and present your position. 60-second version. Remember the 60-second sermon?
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Traveler, are you?
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, Be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Are back with our second conversation for this morning. We are going into celebrations for the September month, and we are joined by Sasha Ely, who is Oscar B's manager, and in Zoom, we have the Oscar B himself.
Legendary.
Hi. We thank you both
What's up?
so
Morning,
much
guys.
for joining us this morning.
Thank you
And
for having us.
we want to talk and get into the September celebrations and the night at the Biltmore Plaza. So
let's talk about that.
Yes, let's talk about that. Get into it. Sasha, what can we expect?
Well, what you can expect at the night at the Biltmore Plaza is it's for a more mature audience. It's a very intimate setting because we're only expecting about 200 people.
Okay.
We have private parking at Caribbean Motors, and that is free.
Okay.
It's a dining service, so you can sit. We have waiter and waitresses that will be taking your orders. So it's a very chill, laid-back type of entertainment, one that I think is a bit missing around this time. You know, there's nothing for people of a certain age to attend.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that my mom won't want to go to a concert that starts 9 and then you have to stand until 5,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, and then it's a fight to get to the bar, you know. So I think this is a much needed experience for older persons, especially after this 2 years pandemic.
So,
you
Oscar
know.
B, let's bring you into the conversation, sir.
What's up?
I'm doing good. How are you? Seems like you're in a bit of traffic there.
I'm fine, but I'm hearing some music in the background, okay?
Okay.
Some music.
You're hearing some music, you're saying?
It no stopped. Yeah.
All right, good. Good. So let's talk about what are some of the legendary hits from Oscar B that the audience, that those that are coming can expect to hear.
Well, you could expect to hear Butterfly, Suka Tati, Dancehall Suka, the Raga Ragas, you could expect to hear we're going to take you back and bring you forward. So you could expect to hear a lot of stuff that you grew up with. In fact, just last night I was looking at a clippings that I probably have to send to Channel 5 of a school tour at the Civic, when the Civic used to be the Civic.
That's Channel 5 footage, you know.
Yes,
I
don't know. They I don't know posted if it on this I day don't know last if- year. Yeah, I don't know if the two hosts were a part of the audience.
No, we were. I think we were a part of kindergarten at that time or before. Not to age ourselves.
I was definitely there.
You were there?
Yes, I'm right there in the video as well.
What does this generation know about the butterfly? Come on. I mean, that's legendary dance move.
Why they got enough for me and you?
Well, the thing about it is too is that I think that I must say that personally I think that Belizeans are very much grounded into a certain culture that they grew up hearing certain things, and they have passed on the knowledge to the younger ones. So I think that most of the younger ones will some of them might know, some might know, but you see, I believe that the parents is the leader. So once the parents know it and the parents share it, they're going to be aware of it.
I'll tell you something, Oscar B. I wasn't of that age, but because my mother and my father listened to your music, I know a lot of the lyrics by heart. And in fact, there is an appetite among the young for that type of music when you're tired of the more modern soca. You are go in our setting and do the butterfly and feel comfortable to do the butterfly.
Yeah, of course, because the butterfly is for age 16 to 60.
Of course.
So Sasha, tell us. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so that is what it's about, and definitely on tomorrow night, I'm so eager and excited to be in Belize. I couldn't even sleep last night because I know one more night to go and I'm in Belize.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night is going to be an exciting night. I am very honored to be doing my first official concert in Belize. This is just a start of things to come, because we have other plans. We have other plans to take the show around Belize, because I personally think that the outskirts of Belize City suffers with that kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the plan. The plan is to take it out of Belize next year. But this year, 2022, we want people to come out to the Biltmore Plaza Hotel. It's going to be a concert of a difference.
Yeah.
As you know, we have Denise Castillo, we have J. Cass. So I have decided to pull in two young, very talented artists who I follow a lot on the show, to create that sort of an ambience and atmosphere that you know people can enjoy. I mean, you gotta come out and support your own Belizean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're the future, they're the rising stars that they're gonna make Belize very, very proud. I can assure you that, definitely.
The fact that it's starring yourself, Oscar B, and then you have J. Cass and Denise Castillo. I'm sensing a very mellow kind of we're laid back. We listen and actually being able to listen to the music kind of night.
And Oscar will be backed up by the center stage band.
Live band.
With Ken Doyle and Paul and Dean live band. So it's like live entertainment, and you'll have your menu, a special menu is prepared just for the night. And if you want, you can go up front and dance. If not, you can just stay back and enjoy.
And the Biltmore is such a beautiful setting.
Yes, it's
a
great environment.
Yes.
All right, so where can people get tickets for this event?
They can get tickets at the Biltmore Plaza, at Cellular Plus and Freetown, and Angela's Press on Queen Street. And I've been asked this question a lot. What is the dress code?
Yes. It seems very elegant.
Yeah, and all I will say is that the dress code is whatever you feel comfortable
Doing
in.
the butterfly in.
You know, it's whatever doing the butterfly in. You know, it's whatever you are comfortable with.
Is there going to be like a space where you can get up and dance, or?
Yes, there will be a space all the way at the front. If you want to get up and go dance, you can go do that. Angela's Press is one of our sponsors, and they're giving us a photo booth area. So if this is a night that you say that this is the first time I'm heading out in 2 years, and you want to get all dressed up, there is an area where you can get dressed up, look nice, and take a great picture.
Max capacity
So there is
200. Do we
that.
still have tickets available?
Yes, we still have tickets available. The tickets are 50 in advance and 60 at the door. We do have a special going on. Tickets, if you purchase 5 and more tickets, it's only $30.
Okay.
And the setting is there's no VIP.
No.
It's real old school.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you
whether out
come
of
and you
VIP
go.
or VIP
The
thing
VIP is if you get there 8 o'clock and find the seat. That's the type of VIP. So it's
Yeah.
a very old school type of vibe.
Love it.
We're ending at 1.
Okay.
And it starts at 9. So
Okay.
it's like, you know,
Yeah.
Just enough time.
just enough time.
Yeah. All right. So final thoughts, Oscar B. Let's hear your final words inviting Belizeans out to the event at Biltmore.
Well, I want to ask all Belizeans, young, old, in the middle, wherever you may be, come out and let's have a wonderful time. Let us celebrate. Whenever Oscar B comes to Belize, I am coming to celebrate. And I have been celebrating in Belize for over, I will say over 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's about
Right?
32.
I've been coming to Belize over 30 years. I know Belize out. I make a joke all the time and I tell people, I know Belize when the main street down by Biltmore was dirt.
Wow.
and when people used to travel in Batty bus.
Oh man.
Right? So the thing about it is, I want the people to come out and have a good time. I want the mamas and the papas and the convince.
We seem to be having a little technical.
I think we're losing
Yeah,
him.
we're losing him a little bit.
Yeah,
But yes,
going in the
Denise,
countryside of
finish
Trinidad.
his sentence.
Closing thoughts from you.
My closing thoughts are, if you haven't been out a while and you're worried about security, you don't want to be in a crowded place where you don't know, you're not in a controlled area, then the Biltmore Plaza is where you would want to be. Like I said, there's free secure parking.
Yeah.
You don't have to park on the roadside.
Yeah.
You can park and entering right through the side door. There's waiting service, dining service. It's just really calm, cool
Love
type
it.
of vibes. And let me just say a little shout out to our sponsors.
Sure.
That's Smart. I think Smart's having a plan. And they have an international SIM card that you can purchase. It's for 10 days. And it has unlimited data, and I'm not sure about the specifics, but if you go on over to Smart page, you will see all the information about the international SIM card that they have. And then there is Angela's Press that I mentioned before. They're doing high quality wide format printing, and they're also doing backdrops for special events, and their price is very, very, very reasonable.
All right.
And then there is Travelers. They're assisting us with our lounge area. Let me see if I am forgetting anything.
When it starts calling
sponsors.
And Madisco. Madisco is always on board when it comes to anything Biltmore and Oscar. So that's about it.
All right. And then you have Cellular Plus, of course,
Plus.
and the Best Western, Plus
Yeah.
Biltmore. Sasha, Oscar B, thank you both so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Giving us a preview, insight
Can't
into
wait
tomorrow
to
night
see
show.
how this concert. Well,
We have to try to get some tickets in April
yeah.
for this night.
But thank you both so much, and we hope that you get that 200 maximum. Limited. Go out and get your tickets now at the Biltmore Cellular World.
Cellular Plus and Freetown.
To sign us out, Oscar B, you have to give us one or two lyrics. You got that for real?
Hey, are you hearing me?
Yes.
All right. So I want to thank my manager there, Sasha, who has been doing a fantastic job. And they always say, besides a great man.
Oh no.
Beside a great man is great Wi-Fi service.
Beside a great man is a great manager.
Yes.
I want to say that publicly. She's my manager in Benin, and she does a fantastic job. But you gotta come out on tomorrow night. Last time we this girl in a basement party, doing the butterfly. Everybody want come, let me do the talkie dance. Raga, 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 raga.
No, that's not my shop. Yeah.
Oh, Sunday. Yo, vampire. Oh.
Sunday.
Wow.
Dracula. All right, with that, that's our cue. We'll take a break and then we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Okay, students, let's focus now.
Teacher, yes, teacher.
Can anyone tell me what sustainable development means? Ganze?
Huh?
Anybody?
Teacher. Last night my dad was talking about sustainable development and he said something about people and nature and something else. Oh, and money.
That's good. But did you ask your dad what sustainable development really means?
Yes, teacher, but he said I was too young to know what that is. Is it something bad?
No, Barisha, it's not bad. It's delicious. Well, at least it looks delicious on the TV. Can I get some?
No, Waldo. You're thinking about edible arrangements. That's what you saw, edible arrangements.
Don't laugh, class. Some people get confused with sustainable development. But when we balance the three things Padisha said, we achieve sustainable development.
What do you mean by balance, teacher?
It is when people use only the resources they need from the forest, rivers, and sea and leave some resources to grow back again.
But teacher, why do people cut down the nice trees that give us shade and kill the poor animals?
Because people need wood to build houses, food to cook, and water to drink.
But teacher, we have enough trees to get wood and enough plants and animals to get food.
good enough that we can sell them and make money.
That may be so, Waldo. We need money to live. But if we use up all the resources, then there will be none left for our friends and families to see later. Do you think that's fair?
No, teacher. That's being greedy. My mom always tells me to use what I need now and save for rainy days.
Exactly.
Teacher, if we take care of Belize's precious resources and practice sustainable development, we and our children can enjoy all of Belize. That's what I learned from the Department of the Environment when they came to present at our school.
Oh, that's excellent, Waldo.
Right, and we are back this morning, and we are here with 3 young, promising, encouraging, motivated Belizean young men athletes. And they represent what we mean when we celebrate Belize, when we celebrate our country, when we celebrate independence. But they're here to talk about their athletic achievement in the U15 National Basketball Competition, correct?
Yes,
and
sir.
so we have in studios with us, we have Jason Orozco. We have Amari. What's how you pronounce your last name? Reese. And we have Mr. Dimitri Wagner.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Obviously, when you're late for school, so we want to get out there as quick as possible, unless you don't mind the out of school.
I don't mind.
So you don't mind. I don't know that.
You ask that question for you, make you admit that on live TV. His teacher they watch.
So let's talk about the competition and the experience that you had during the competition. What were some of the greater challenges that you experienced, and what are some of the more fun times and fun memories? Because being a champion, coming out on top, comes with all of that. So let's start with Amari. Yes.
Some of the challenges I'd say were probably, in my opinion, I'd say the referees were probably the biggest challenges.
Why so?
They've missed a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And just, it was a little frustrating, but you know, we got through it, got the win, so.
So I wanted to ask the question about how it feels to win. This is your first match, all of you. This is your first championship. This is your first championship. This is not your first championship and not your first championship. So let's talk to Jason. Tell us about how long you've been playing basketball, and since this isn't your first championship, what does it feel like to be the winner of this one?
Well, I always feel good because like communicating and playing with the people you love and stuff, you know, just playing the game you love and doing what you love.
How long have you been playing basketball?
Not long.
Not long?
I just play ball like on a whistle. I just play yard ball.
And what about you, Dimitri?
I had to play yard ball for my band because I band for basketball court.
No, you literally band for basketball court?
Yeah, literally band.
No, you can't literally
You can't be serious
right
now.
You have a basketball court at home?
Okay.
Yeah.
For before I band.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I born to play ball, so I don't used to play ball, but under whistle I just start play under whistle ball like when I 14, 13. So.
What do you mean by under whistle ball?
Like referee.
Referee.
Under whistle.
Okay, because when you play street ball, there are different, you know, your own ref, right?
Yeah.
And you make your own call. Why that fault? No, why that no fault? And you could argue that, and then you could just quit the game if you know what. But so this team, this U15 team, is there a name for the team? It's like it's a
24.
24. 8. What that means?
Kobe
Bryant. So Kobe.
You know, the fact that you never know that. I mean,
Well,
I never know that it's okay. But
You know, you have
that.
24/7, and then you have people who work 24/8, like they said, they work extra. But then 24/8 are also Kobe Bryant's numbers, right? Correct. So let's talk a bit about how you all became a part of this team. Were you randomly selected? Did you decide, hey, I want to join a team, and this was the team for you? So let's go one by one. How did you join the team?
Well, I've been to play under my coach, Coach 3. So we may play in a Ahmadiyya tournament right before this tournament start. Like around March. So we may play in that time, but yeah, we may come out in a semifinals. Yeah,
and
coaches just called me. It was like, you want to play, but we were playing an Ahmadiyya tournament, and then some of the players were asked to come play for this team, and then we just won. And we added like some new players, so yeah.
I'm going to play with Ahmadiyya too, but different team, and I broke my hand.
Oh no.
So I come up for finals, and then we may win championship. This tournament come up, and then Coach Reese asked if I had to join his team, so we just start work out and make that bond together.
So how would you rate your performance on the basketball court? You're a champion now.
I think 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
100 out of 10.
I wouldn't expect anything less. How would you rate it?
100 out of 10, man.
100 out of 10. You?
1,000 out of 10.
So then, you know what? They just the one up now.
I rate mine. Yeah, I'm not talk about that. So let's talk a bit about basketball and how it has positively impacted your life, in your view. How is the sport? What has the sport done that's good for you?
Well, I think sports save your time for to be idle and they commit crime on the street and thing. That save most of my time because after school then I just go play my ball and I think.
Yeah.
Sports helped me like win scholarships and like take a little load off of my parents. So yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Sports like that, like the sports that take idleness and idle up yourself about the streets. Try fall in a gang. Sports do all of that and take good in the fall.
So I noticed you all are in your uniforms, and I know I don't have to go to school, but can you just say the school that you represent?
Yeah, St. John's College.
St. John's.
Belize High School.
Belize High School.
Maud Williams.
Maud Williams. So 3 esteemed schools, beautiful champion athletes.
And there's two of you that's also members of the U16 national team. Which two is it?
Me and Jason.
No, you're both members of the U16 national team. What's the upcoming? Is there any upcoming events, or are you preparing for anything? What's it looking like for that team in the future?
I'm pretty sure the tournament's supposed to play here in December, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So are you already practicing and preparing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you prepare practice?
Civic or sometimes the Mexico Sports Center.
All right. Let's talk finally a bit about your plans for the future when it comes to basketball, and how do you see the sport developing in Belize. But first, you personally, what do you hope to achieve? And secondly, how do you think basketball should be developed in Belize?
I plan to continue play ball and continue win championship and anything.
Yeah, and the sport in Belize, what do you think could be done for it to be developed greater?
Well, I think they should host more tournaments and things in Belize.
Okay.
I plan to continue playing basketball. I think it should be a little bit more like development before you just go straight into a tournament, because some of the competition we played weren't really that good. So.
Well.
Yeah, what do you plan to do with basketball?
Well, this is something I want for the rest of my life. Like get a scholarship and go somewhere out of Belize and in a Belize how they could develop the tournament, like host more tournaments like for the upcoming youths, like they could join that and not they on the street, they idle themselves, same thing.
I like that you all want to continue and that you all think that, well, you all believe that you can take it a step further and then come back home and develop. Is there anything else that you want to tell your friends and your family at home when it comes to basketball and what that means to you?
Right. So like let's give thanks to who you want to give thanks to. Big up who you want big up. I would imagine your coach are part of that big up.
Yeah. So
I want to give thanks to my family for always to support me and they go to my game now, they support me, and have to thank my coach so for they beside me, for continue push me, for play with best ball and thing.
Yeah.
Even though my family come to the games, I want to thank them for that. Just give me the confidence to go out there and play, tell me that they have my support, and then coach for always to push me when we did down, to encourage us to just keep playing and keep our heads up.
I give a shout out to my family too, for motivate me before the game, and I want to give a shout out to Coach Reese, same way for make we keep as a team and not quarrel with each other when on the court.
I can imagine that happens more often.
When you listen, April, when you're passionate about a sport and you feel like you put your all, and sometimes you feel like your teammates might not be there to put their all. Of course, you say, "Why do better?" Or you know how they words with each other. But that's all a part of the sport and all a part of helping to develop each other as a team. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show this morning, for agreeing to come and share a bit about your journey and to share your victory and your success with us. Of course, we're proud of you, and that's why we wanted to have you all on the show. And of course, big shout outs to your coach as well, because he's also a role model in your lives, not only on the court but off the court as well, in terms of discipline and developing your lives as young men. So keep the path, man, keep the path, and I guarantee you that there's nothing but upward movement for you once you remain positive, and once you keep this path, you will be national champions or regional champions and even international champions in the future.
We expect good things.
So with that, we'll take another break, and when we return, we have a final conversation. We'll be talking about the September 10th Bram by the Belize City Council. You don't want to miss that, so stay tuned.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at bbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism. All right,
we are
back, and for our final conversation this morning, we have a discussion with the communications manager of the Belize City Council, Miss Erin Garnett. She's no stranger to Open Your Eyes.
Thank you guys for having me back.
Of course, we're always happy to have you to tell us all about what's happening in Belize City.
What to do, where to go.
Yes. The last time you guys came, you talked to us about
Summer
the
Festival.
Summer
Did
Festival.
you guys attend? I think people really enjoyed
That
it.
day was in night market, right?
Yeah, it was
AKA
kind of
night
like
market.
it was a summer festival,
I was
a night
there.
of culture. So
I was there.
You were.
Oh, I eat
Okay.
kudut.
You did?
What?
Hudut, Indian food, Chinese dumplings.
Yep, we
So
had it.
So belly full, happy full.
Man, I
Basically.
got home happy. And I gone out, get food, get drinks, and then I gonna watch Miss Universe.
Oh, nice.
Right after I get everything from
That's
there.
the thing about Belize lately, especially Belize City, there is so much to do. And
Yeah.
September is no different. It's going to be bigger and better.
Well,
we're
now-
outside this year, guys.
Talk to us about the tent and especially the Bram. What can we expect?
Okay, actually, guys, I'm going to start from tomorrow. You know, so far we've had our flag raising. There has been carnival. There has been the unveiling of our mural and the lighting of the overpass. But there's more. So tomorrow night we're actually joining with the National Fire Service for the fire engine parade, which is back.
Yes.
And I heard it's supposed to be bigger because they have more fire engines now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So we're partnering with them. So for that, we're going to be doing a bike up light competition. So we're
Okay.
giving prizes for Pee-wee, Junior, and Senior if you decorate your bike with lights and go out and join the parade. That's going to be fun. I know Gwen's Kitchen is donating the Pee-wee prize, and the BCC will be donating Junior and Senior. After that, there's the Lord Ray-Ban Living Legend concert. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Yes, I've been seeing
That is going to be actually in the Lord Ray-Ban Square. It's a new area that has been created. It's right behind Memorial Park in front of the sea, that open parking lot area.
Okay.
That is now Lord
They're
Ray-Ban
paying
Square.
tribute to him.
Well, Plaza. So it's
So
going
they block off that area.
blocked off.
Okay.
Tomorrow night is officially going to be Lord Rayburn Plaza. He's actually going to be at that event as well,
Maybe
along
he
with.
performs one or two hits.
It's like a tribute to
Yeah,
him.
The whole thing is a
Love
tribute
that.
to him.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there, the Minister of Education and Youth and Culture. Science and Technology.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and then after that, then we have the 10th day, the
Yes,
Bram.
the Bram.
Usual ceremony in the morning, then obviously the tent parade, and then it ends off at the tent Bram, which is also in Lord Rayburn Plaza. We want to really utilize that area. So that's going to be happening on the 10th day.
So just to be clear, there is a tent parade.
Yes,
I
there
know
is
the
a tent
September
parade.
celebrations calendar. I think it had it missed.
Yeah,
it missed it out.
I think they've already edited it.
Okay,
So on
so-
10th day, it's going to be the usual tent ceremony in the morning,
Okay.
straight into the parade, and then straight into the Bram. So it's a full packed day for Belize City residents, and obviously anybody who wants to join and visit from other municipalities.
Tell us about the Bram. What's the Bram? When we hear Bram, what would
that
it talk
mean?
about?
Yeah. We're talking entertainment, we're talking family, food, games.
What part?
Lord Rayburn Plaza.
The sailor, so we're going back there the next day.
2 days in a row. In the night, then at the next day.
So you talk about music, food, and dance. So it's
let's talk about
performances.
Performance, obviously, we have to have Super G.
Super, yeah.
Britney Star, up and coming. She's really been capturing attention lately. Some cumbia music, some steel pan. You can't have Belize without steel pan music.
Of course not.
Jael August, who's usually known for that nice broke-down and cultural wear. So we're really excited to see that. Coconut Boy and the broke-down jam. And we also have games, children and adult games on the stage, watermelon eating contest, and so much more. And obviously for the games, we're doing prizes. Giveaways throughout the day as well. We have all of the food that you know the Belize City Council to have. Fried chicken, hot dogs, burgers, pupusas, ceviche, of course tacos. No, this time. You have to wait for the next culture night. Everything has to be unique in its own right.
So this free?
This is free entrance, yes.
Wow.
It is free entrance.
So if I want to just pop in so I'm paying for food basically.
Yeah.
Just food.
Yeah, as always we connect with our Belize City vendors for these events.
I love it. I love it. This is one of the things I love the most about Belize City. And I was telling somebody the other day, you know, we might not have to buy no concert ticket for the tent if you want to go so away, because I sure you will find an event or two.
Of course.
Free, and you could go and could entertain, be entertained. And what better place than on the seaside at the now Lord Rayburn Plaza.
Entertainment with a view, and obviously you guys know anything we do is meant for the entire family. Bouncy houses, popcorn, trampolines.
So what time you guys are kicking this off?
We're kicking it off 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Whoa,
and it's directly, the parade ends at the Ram, so it's direct, it's straight in. All day.
I love that. I love that it's a day event where you get able to celebrate and bring your family with it, because right after parade there's something to do, and I don't have to worry about going to make lunch, because lunch is going to be provided for me.
And even after this event, April, you could go wherever you want.
I mean, this September is not short of activities for sure. There are so many things happening. And then right after the Bram, I guess next we have the 19th, which is Service Day. You know, that is the day we really try to honor George Price, and all organizations and people as individuals try to do something to give back. On our end, the City Council, we're planting 41 trees for 41 years of independence. And also unveiling the Collect project we've been working on. We'll be telling you guys some more about that later in September.
So what she's saying to us.
41 trees, where are you planting?
We're planting it all over the city. So we've been working with our planning department to identify a specific place that would, you know, spruce up the area. Adding some color.
So I want to talk about the Service Day.
Yes.
Because it's not a holiday per se, but it is a way that people give back to the
it's so amazing to see our organizations partaking it, and schools sending out their students to hospitals and different homes.
So that was going to be my next question. Is there anybody partaking with the City Council to plant the 41
So when we do things like this, we always just extend an invitation to residents in general, and we always include our Youth Shadow Council program or CAB program with the kids, so it's always very inclusive.
Right. And the 19th is only 2 days before Independence.
Independence
What
Day.
are we talking about for
Obviously,
Independence Day?
NCC and the Nature are doing their usual 20th night fireworks and show and entertainment. Yes, and then 21st day, it's an extremely packed day for the council. We have 3 events in one day.
But before we get to the 21st, the 20th night, the fireworks night, we could go out and view that.
We're outside, Paul. We're outside.
You know, I just
the same place we always do it on Marine Parade area by Memorial Park.
I just have to
tradition.
I have to remind people and make it sink in.
Some have not realized,
some
right?
have not realized,
you know what?
that
But
with
Paul,
outside,
I think they realized after Carnival.
I think so. I will agree with you.
I think they realized.
You know, last year's fireworks in Belize City, I had to stand up on my porch and watch it, and I'm so tempted to go out. And I say, if police want to stop me, they want to stop me. But I'm so tempted, and so now to let it sink in. But you don't have to worry about police, you don't have to worry about nothing. The outside to go and watch this fireworks in Belize City. Let's talk about the 21st, and you say you have a jam-packed day.
Three events on one day. We're hoping residents can participate, but we know you guys look forward to this. First, we have the Independence Day ceremony at Memorial Park, which is the Belize City version of the ceremony. I know the main one is in Bilmapan that day as well. And then it goes straight into the uniform parade, which is also back and kicking off again. I know that is something. What's really unique about that is that they have been students who have been in high school who have never paraded as yet because of COVID. So this is going to be a big day for them and as well for their parents, because that's the day when parents line up and just wait for you to pass. Do you need water?
But it's true, it didn't dawn on a lot of people that this will be the first time that some kids are even thinking about the parade after they graduate from Standard 6.
They haven't really had that high school experience as yet. It wasn't available until now. So there are some people in second form parading for the first time. So it's going to be very exciting.
So that's the second event.
Second, and we really want to implore students, please abide by your school policies and interaction policies during this parade. We don't want anybody to get hurt or, you know, please abide by those policies. And then we have our 21st Belize City Bash directly after the parade.
One thing about this city council, they know who put off for a party and they like party.
They keep us busy.
So it's a bash?
It's a Belize City Bash in Digi Park. Garfana Collective will be there. We have Missy B, Consigo, TR Shine. And this is actually kind of like a free day give back from the Council on Independence Day.
It's a free event again?
It's a free concert, obviously, but we're also doing free bouncy houses, free popcorn, free cotton candy.
Everything is free.
From the council on that day.
I love that.
And it's really a family day.
It is.
And also games as well. Hula hoop contest, watermelon eating again, different things happening, hot dog eating contest.
I appreciate that the Bram is a family affair. The 21st is a family, because it is about community and community building.
That's really what we.
So again, back to the Bram, because we have to quickly wrap up, and I know that where you come from.
This Saturday, watch the ceremony, parade, and then Bram
at 11
a.m. Lord Rayburn Square, right behind Memorial Park. Food, drinks, entertainment,
free entertainment,
games.
Yes, and it ends at 8. All right. So Erin, anything else you miss out?
Enough security.
All right. You could come be with your family. The 10th September Bram, hosted by the Belize City Council. Thank you to you and your council.
Thank you so much for having
bringing such a vibrant September to Belize City. And with that, we are going to take our final break, and we'll be back for a wrap up. So stay tuned.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Wow. You really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son,
If I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
We are back just like that. We had a very adventurous show this morning, to say the least. I think we began with having that. You know what? It turned into a very healthy conversation this morning with the folks from the committee of the member of St. George's Caye Day Society, Sharon Pitts, and then of course you had the interim acting director, of the social and culture research at Niche, Rolando Cocom, and then of course you had history lecturer at the St. John's Junior College.
April, one thing I want
to
say about that conversation, one word, that yes.
Yes? Yes to what?
Yes, we need to have more conversations that.
No,
yes, we haven't been having a lot of conversations like that. And I'm not talking here on Open Your Eyes.
Yeah, just in general.
I'm talking about in general. Yeah. Yes, I learned some things that I didn't think about before. Yes, I have more questions and answers now. But yes, these are the type of conversations we need to have on these topics.
Absolutely. I feel like, the only regret I have is that we didn't have enough time.
Right.
Because clearly, this, from different walks of life, from different fields and backgrounds, we all have a view of this history that definitely needs to be hashed out, definitely needs to continue having this conversation, especially if we are discussing decolonizing our system, especially if we're talking about the road to republic. If we're having conversations about that, and we're still having conversations about St. George's Caye, clearly we need to hash out some foundational problems before we can begin those other conversations.
My only griping with it is that the conversation needs to begin from the start.
Yeah.
And the conversation needs to be had in a way that everyone understands it.
Yes.
Even those without a history background, like myself. I think at times historians and people who gather these artifacts and who gather these documents and information at times get ahead of themselves because of the understanding and the level of knowledge they have. But from a grassroots perspective, first thing we want to know why St. George's Caye is so important. When it's so important about that, in fact, some people might even want to ask, where part St. George's Caye located along Belize? So let's start from the basics. And from there, we could build the arguments and we could develop the conversation, which will obviously take time.
It will.
But we need to do it like that.
I love it. I 100% appreciated that this morning. I never expect that conversation for gone the way it gone. I'm truly appreciative of the folks that came in, and let's continue to have it. If we're going to continue to celebrate these kinds of events, we should know why, right? And then, of course, moving into just more about September and more about events, you have the ninth. The ninth. I don't mess it up. The ninth night at the Biltmore Plaza.
Where you bite
with Oscar B, of course. He done a whole mood. I enjoy having conversations with Oscar B. The Biltmore Plaza will be hosting their ninth night with Oscar B and other Belizean artists like Denise Castillo and J. Cass, I believe. And that will begin at 8. And of course, you can purchase tickets at the Biltmore. If you purchase your tickets before, it's $50. If you purchase your tickets at the door, it's $60. And that is, of course, on the 9th of September, tomorrow.
And then in our third conversation, of course, we had the U15 national champions, 24-8, and they dominated the U15 championship, national championship here in Belize, and we want to say kudos to them, and we thought it important to bring them on to highlight positive young minds across Belize City, across Belize, and we're talking about young men, and that's just encouraging.
It is encouraging, and it is nice to see that they're taking their time to put in the love of the sport into something positive. So we thank them, and we thank their parents for letting them come on the show. And of course, we wrap things up with Erin Garnett, the communications manager at the Belize City Council, here to talk about the 10th of September RAM that is hosted by the Belize City Council. So it's sung like it's going to be free entertainment. You have to pay for your food, but it's going to be an all-around family fun affair. There will be games, live music, food. So bring out your kids after the parade on the 10th of September all the way to about 8 o'clock at night. So it should be a good one. I'm sorry to not have Hudut Paul. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I could try something else this time.
But of course, before we go, we have a birthday shout out, and we want to say a very, very special birthday from Vianney Reyes, your granddaughter. So we want to say happy birthday to Emily Reyes. Our producer, your granddaughter, Vianney, is sending lots of love your way. We hope you have a wonderful day today with lots of blessings. And of course, from all of us here at Channel 5, we hope you have a wonderful birthday, Emily. And of course, if you have a birthday shout out, or if you have questions or concerns, you can always drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live stream on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and our highlights on Instagram at OYE Belize. Thank you so much for tuning in. You open your eyes.
And you started your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
See you soon. Then have a good day, Belize. Goodbye.
Peace.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.